off top, my favorite rapper of 2020, hands down, Ransom. If y'all ain't checked his music out, go check that shit out though. You know what I mean? But Ransom, Director's Cut 3, that was my album of the year. I know a lot of other people was fucking with Alfredo, which is on my list as well. But my favorite for 2020, lyrics, fucking flow, content, bars, overall production, hands down, Director's Cut 3. You know what I mean? He just had an incredible year. Next up, like I said, Freddie Gibbs' Alfredo album, that was just something different. I mean, he did Pinata, he did Bandana, then he came back with this joint. It's like, though, this nigga never seems to, like, fall off, ever. You know what I mean? I've been listening to him since he signed with Jeezy and everything like that, even after Jeezy. You know what I mean? So, but to see, when he gets in with one producer and the work ethic that he put in and the product that comes out is always fucking fire though. Phenomenal. I would love to see him and Harry Fraud do a project together, because him and Madlib is fire. Him and Alchemist is crazy. But I would definitely love to see him and Harry Fraud. I think they'll come up with some dope shit. Now next is something different. MGK, Tickets to My Downfall. I don't care what people say. They want to say, oh, this nigga went to another genre because of Eminem and that nigga weak. Y'all was tripping on his last album that he put out, Hotel Diablo. I listened to that the other night, and I don't understand what motherfuckers was talking about. That album was hella dope. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like it was slept on because of the Eminem shit. But if y'all really go back and just pay attention, yeah, honestly, he put out a better album than Eminem, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Kamikaze was cool. Music to Be Murdered By, cool. But that album, that shit was crazy. And I don't know why people were just dissing that nigga for that shit and hating on that nigga. But yeah, Ticket to My Downfall, even though it's like punk rock type music, it still was crazy. It was dope. You know what I mean? I definitely love the song To His Daughter. I love Lonely. You know what I'm saying? And every single he put out, I fuck with as well too. And he also put me on to Youngblood. I didn't know who he was or whatever the case may be, but I checked out his music. I can't say I fuck with all of it, but it's definitely one song that I fuck with, one or two songs I fuck with by him, and he cool. So I definitely fuck with Ticket to My Downfall. Next up, of course, you know, Juice WRLD, Legends Never Die. That whole album was crazy, top to bottom. People was hating on it. People wanted to say whatever about, you know, him not being here, but that album, the way they put it together, the visuals that came with it was dope. You know what I mean? And I feel like that album could definitely help a lot of people that's going through any type of depression, any kind of addiction. He definitely bared his soul on that body of work. You know what I mean? And I was very impressed by that. I was just like, damn, you know, I admired Juice WRLD and respected his music when he was here. You know what I mean? But I think this is the body of work that I fully paid attention to, you know, and I was highly impressed with that. You know, I don't think that the label should keep putting out music, because I feel like he's more perfectionist and he wants to put out the best music that he can, and not just his label shouldn't put out shit just for a cash grab. Boom. So next up I had Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof. That made the list, you know. A lot of people said it gave him that nostalgic feeling of Rockefeller back in the day with Jay-Z. And I definitely can see it. You know what I mean? You can hear it. But that's hands down the best. To me, he the best out of Griselda. And that's the best project that Griselda even released, in my opinion. You know, I never really slept on Benny the Butcher. But I remember when a couple of his joints, you know, dropped, I listened to him here and there, you know, skimmed through them. But the one that I missed that everybody was talking about was Tenor Talk 3. And I kind of slept on that as well, because I guess it wasn't something that I was really feeling like that. Not to say I could relate to any of the music they put out, but it's just a feeling that I get with certain music. You know how, like, an artist may come out, but you may not fuck with their music like that until, like, the third album. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. And it's just like, okay, this is the album that made you pay attention. So Burden of Proof is definitely the one that made me pay attention. And his lyricism, his bars is just crazy. Like, it ain't too many niggas that could say that they could rap with that nigga. You know what I mean? When I hear him on feature records, I ain't gonna lie, I skip right to his verse. Period. Because I just be like, nah, I just want to hear what this nigga gonna say, because he's so dope. Every time you get something new out of Benny, and his bars, the way he come up with shit and put it together, is just crazy. Speaking of Griselda, you know, Conway, From King to a God. or From God to a King. But no, I think it's From King to a God. I forget, but whatever. That is his best album to me. And I'm hearing like that's not even his debut album, because I was just reading some shit about Griselda, what they about to do this year, and I think it was West Side Gun that posted it, like they about to drop Conway's debut album this year. So I'm like, damn, what the fuck? I thought this was his debut album. Even the deluxe version he did of this with that one song, Raw Oysters, fucking crazy. The minute I heard that record, I ran it back and repeated that shit like 5 times. The aggression on that song, the shit he was saying, it's like, okay, damn, where was this aggression at? The album was versatile, and I definitely liked that. Some of the production I really wasn't feeling, but as far as the content, it was good. He opened up a lot different. It gave a variety, and it just wasn't about street shit, drugs, shooting. He gave a lot of different variety. A lot of people hated the Days Loaf record. I thought it was pretty cool, in my opinion. But yeah, From King to a God, definitely his dope album. You know what I mean? So next up, we're going to switch a little bit, and we're going to go with Jim Jones' El Capo Deluxe. I don't know why he wanted to call it a deluxe. It was a whole different vibe, in my opinion, than the first El Capo. And I was like, damn, you could have just called this El Capo 2 instead of a deluxe version. The production seemed to be a little more refined and better. The samples was crazier. The songs, the features. It's like, listening to that shit, I'm like, I don't think it's one bad song on there. It might be one that's a little bit shaky, maybe 2, but other than that, you can play that album all the way through. I personally didn't think that he can top El Capo. You know what I mean? But when him and Heatmakers get together, or Dipset as a whole get together, it's just phenomenal. And it's shocking that most people be like, damn, Jim Jones is like rapping better than everybody out of Dipset. You niggas never listened to his debut album, then his sophomore album. Jim Jones been rapping good for a long time, but the project that made motherfuckers, I think, pay attention was the joint what he did called The Kitchen. That's when I was like, oh, this nigga is stepping his shit up something crazy. What's going on with Jim? And he addressed it throughout his music. People thinking that he had a ghostwriter and shit. Nah, nigga, that nigga just stepped his shit up. But he always been nice. That's what I don't understand about people when they say that about him. He always been nice. Go check his catalog out. Jim Jones been spitting fire for years. Decades even. You know what I mean? So next up, this was a tough one. But I gotta go with Mac Miller Circles. That just was a good album all the way through. The emotion. And it's like, in a way, a sad album. I mean, it's not sad, but it kind of just, it makes you miss him a lot, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, damn, he not even here to enjoy the fruits of his labor, And it was fucked up that he should get not every award, but some awards he should get, because this is so different from his previous works where he rapping. And it's the perfect sequel to Swimming, in my opinion. And I was just like, wow. I got a lot of favorites off that, but my favorite had to be Woods. I just think that the melodies, the way he's so melodic with his voice, it's just, it gives you a good feeling, and it makes you sad, or at least me, and I just wish he was still here, and it's just crazy that he not, and the way he, passed away. It's like, damn, I still don't like Ariana to this day, because I feel like bitch is heartless, you know what I mean? But R.I.P. Mac, man. R.I.P. Juice WRLD as well. Next up, we gotta go with G Herbo, PTSD the Deluxe, man. That shit just was something different. I know I keep saying that, but it really was. See, that's the thing with these deluxe albums. These niggas was dropping these motherfuckers, and the deluxe is better than the original. Because I don't think nobody was expecting this shit to be as crazy as it was. And I was listening to this shit when it dropped. I was like, all right, what we gonna get? Just from the artwork alone, you knew it was gonna be crazy. And I mean, he just got bangers after bangers after bangers on that album. You know what I mean? And it's better than the original. I'm sorry, because some of the original is cool, but I can skip a few tracks. But the deluxe was just fucking bananas, man. G Herbo definitely stepped this shit up. The new song that he got out now, where he basically was talking about they thought it was scamming and shit. He basically addressed that shit over that Dipset beat. Crazy. I do believe it's a Dipset beat. I do believe it is. Somebody from Dipset, I think that's one of their beats. But yeah, dope as fuck. He been stepping this shit up lately too, though. Last joint, man, this one was kind of fucking tough. It was really, really, really tough. But had to go with King Von, man. Welcome to Old Block. It was between that, I'll do honorable mentions later. But yeah, King Von, Welcome to O Block. His first couple joints, if you know me, they wasn't as what I thought they would be. They was cool, but you can just tell he was improving from his first joint to LeVon James joint, and I thought that was okay. It was cool. But when he got to this, I think he perfected everything. And it's sad he's not here because it's like he was about to be next. You know what I mean? He was already rapping better than Durk. I don't want to hear that shit, niggas talking that crazy shit. He rapping the way Durk should be. But then he's a different nigga than Durk was. You know that Von was doing what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Durk, but we understand the difference in the way they fucking rap and the way their lifestyle was. You feel what I'm saying? So I just hated that he didn't get to propel to that next level. Because he definitely was for the knock a few niggas in his peer group or rap game, whatever you want to call it, the fuck out the way. Because I think when it comes to certain elements of the streets, I think people like authenticity. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of why I feel like the shit with Meek, where I won't say how Axe said, but basically the thing with him is how he'll talk street shit in his music, but if you know his come up, he wasn't really making money in the streets like that. So it makes it be like I said before, G Herbo should have took Meek Mill's spot years ago. Cause it's just like you listen to him and you can believe that. You hear some shit from Meek, it's just like, it sounds like secondhand information. But that's whatever. But yeah, King Von, Welcome to O Block, they're just fucking crazy. Demons is my favorite song on that shit. Like, the way, see, I never thought that Von would be the type to do like the little melodic type shit. And it wasn't crazy melodic, but it's just like, if you listen to Demon's hook, it's just like, damn, this nigga has so much fucking talent. And to know he been rapping a short period of time, it just goes to show you, like, look how much he improved over niggas that's been in it longer than him. So yeah, man, RIP to him. His visuals was crazy as well. Like, you know what I mean? Wayne's story, that's dope as hell. I took her to the O. That video was crazy. He had that white bitch going in that motherfucker throwing up shit. That shit was dope as fuck. But that's basically my top 10 or whatever the case may be for 2020.